Good morning. It's Tuesday, May 27th, and we're going to attempt to tiller this holly log that was incredibly saturated with water. And as it stands now, there's 9% in the riser and 7% in the limbs. And this was fire hardened for about 2.5 hours, I believe. Now, there's a couple of problems with this. I believe it's got a 90% chance of breaking because of this terrible divot where it's very thin. There was a little hairline crack in here, some knots in there. I took AE40 and mixed it up and just rubbed some in the crack just for a little structural support to hopefully get it through the bend. Okay, it's close to the inner, and at some point I hope it either don't break or create a hinge right at this point here. And I don't expect a perfect tiller on this. I don't even expect it to make it to draw length, but if it does, it'll be pretty amazing, you know. So we have our tillering marks. I have them at the fade outs, and they're even from center. Okay. It's approximately 1 inch from the bottom of the string groove, and they're measured equally from the tips too, on both sides. Okay, see the lines? And then I put a center mark between the fade out and that 1 inch. There's a center mark. Okay, so on the center mark. So we're going to put it on the tillering stick with a loose string, and we're going to see how far it lasts. Hopefully it'll last because I have a short draw. Hopefully we'll get it to bend. And when I'm tillering this, because of all the bumps and lumps and, you know, you see the dinosaur bumps and everything on the back, I'm not going to pay attention to the back of the bow. I'm only going to pay attention to the belly with a yardstick. And I'm going to use the yardstick at my tillering marks and try to get a perfect bend right from the fade out all the way down. No aggressive, no stiffer inners, or, you know, other than 1 inch from the string groove on the ends here. Okay, otherwise there's not going to be anything really aggressive going on with this holly. Okay, I'm going to try and get a nice bend throughout the whole thing. Stay tuned. I'm going to ask that you don't pay attention to the siding on the house and the tillering stick because it's not cemented down, it's not square, it's not true. And the other thing is that because the stave is a little wonky, it's not going to be an even, totally even bend, but we're going to make a perfect tiller. Okay, that's the goal, to try and make a perfect tiller. So here we are. We'll put this ruler down for a second. We're going to pull this down a little past even and see what it looks like. I don't know if I heard a little something there already. Not yet. Okay, let me feel. Yep, I heard something already. I didn't even pull this down. I didn't even pull this down a little past, and we got a little crack. Let me show you. You know what? I can't even, I have to, let me put it on, pull it down, and show you with the camera. Okay, right in front of my finger, you can see the crack started. All right? A little bit of a bend right off of this, and the crack started. Let me just see what I could do for a minute, and I'll get back. This is certainly ridiculous and unorthodox, but I took it on the belt sander, and I rounded the edges around that deep groove. Okay, I made the edges less sharp where it cracked on the edge, and we're going to pull it down until it cracks. Sorry, I didn't hit the record button, but I wanted to pull it down to see how far it would take to break, and it didn't go far at all. So, okay, we made an attempt. It just goes to show you, when you are making a stave, pick the best stave you can. Something like this would have been rejected, but the only reason I worked it was because it took 3 days to get that heavy log out of the woods. And I didn't want to give up on it, you know. I didn't want to give up on it. I wanted to see if I could make it bend. But in the back of my head, I knew it was going to wind up breaking. So on to other bows, just the way it is. But I'm going to put up the fire hardening video because there's information on that, on how to fire harden, you know, shaping it. And I got to show you the failures too. I knew because of that big divot it was going to break there, but had to give it a shot. Thanks for watching.